Ni na mumemerekia wako na njira ya ciĩko wagaki wa muthoni na nie ngetika mwaura wa Ndung'u. Facebook hota mutugo ni Kameme TV Kenya, YouTube ni Kameme TV Kenya. Na riu ndirenda turike imwe kwa imwe nginya gikuju-ini gitu kia mohoro kuria ruhonge rwa borithi ni rwikinyitie mbere ya kamiti ya bunge ya ugitiri wa thiini utariria mikarire ya maofitha borithi undu umwe na gukurana ukinyaniru wa nyumba iria maikaraga mari mbere ya kana nyumba iria maikaraga. Ndirenda tuthie mwena ucio tuthikiririe ikaro giki gitari atia.
Member here on the issue of it being a mistake to require officers to seek their own alternative means of accommodation outside their duty stations. I don't think I'm competent to comment on that. It's a policy issue which is beyond my pay grade, and I'll leave it to the policy makers to perhaps clarify, and you could maybe put in a case for that if you are in agreement. For the KDF, unfortunately, we are actually proceeding with construction of several houses for them through a public-private partnership. So it's different from the refurbishment we do for the pool housing that we have around and the institution houses. So, Mr. Chairman, with your permission, I want to request the Director of Housing. Mr. Raila is here? He has left. Okay, then we have the Director of Institution Housing to clarify on the spread and priority areas for our housing under the affordable housing program.
Okay, go ahead, please.
So, thank you, Chair. We have reported that we have a number of ongoing projects for the purposes of police housing. We have talked of the 900 that are under construction, and that will be completed very soon. And at this phase, we can say that we have already commenced the process of constructing 9,000 units. So that is where the advertisements have been made, the evaluations are ongoing, or even the project is also ongoing. Also, in our procurement plan for this financial year, we do have a plan of doing 22,000. That is 22,000 within this current financial year, 22,000 units, the process will commence. And of course, going for institutional housing, basically for the police.
Thank you for that explanation. IG, anything from your side?
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair and Honorable members. First of all, I must say that this is a very, very timely meeting to discuss a very, very critical component when it comes to matters policing. And housing has actually been a real problem in policing because due to the uniqueness of our services as a national security organ, you find that most of the times we are required to be in our camps, to be in our stations. But again, there are also the policies that are in place at the same time, which must also be looked into. So our proposal and our request as a service is that as we continue to address the issues of housing, let us ensure that priority is given to the policing service by ensuring that within our institutions we have houses where the officers can actually be accommodated to ensure that we render effective service to the people of Kenya. And that is the reason why you asked a question, who is the real owner of police houses in Kamukunja and some other areas? I would say the real owner is the sub-county police commander there, the OCS there, because he is the one who knows who is occupying house A, house B, and so forth and so forth. So I think for the purposes of easing the administration, there is need to relook into the current way of managing things so that we make it easier for our part, on our part, and even when it comes to matters, maintenance of these houses. Especially now that we also have an accounting officer who can be able to account for everything. I think it would be much easier if a decision is made. In line with the question that you had asked earlier, Chair, who is the owner of these houses, so that it becomes easy for us, for the Director of Planning to, in terms of planning, to get to know which is the real area that we need to give priority as priority number one. Because as an Inspector General, I have visited many stations. I have visited many camps. I have been asked tough questions by police officers. What do we do with the repairs of houses that we are living in? And yet we pay house rent for them. My answer is as good as the one that you can be able to afford, Chair. It becomes really difficult. So this is something that we need to look at now that we have an accounting officer within the National Policing Service, so that we can be able to enable the service commanders address those issues actually as an upfront issue, as opposed now to, to handing over the same to some other, to the housing entity to deal with something that can be done by the service. But that does not mean that we don't recognize the Ministry of Housing as the owner of this building, but something can be done to ease that problem. Then, in terms of clustering of the houses, a question that has actually been raised by Honorable Sarah Colel. This is a very, very important question, and that is the reason why I'm saying this meeting is a very timely meeting. It is true, this clustering needs to be reviewed. The truth of the matter is that if, for example, in cluster C, somebody gets 5,500, you see, even to get a house to rent in those areas is even very difficult. So what it means, these officers must dig deep into their pockets so that they can be able to raise the required rent money. And again, that affects with their welfare, and in return, it also affects actually the way they discharge the duty that they are required to discharge. They ask us tough questions. What do you do? I went to Muthaiga police station here the other day. I was asked tough questions by officers. Why do you allow us to stay in Mathare? I said, I don't allow you, and I don't want to stay there. I want houses to be built here, and I'm happy with the Minister of Housing.
Cio ni munene wa borithi Douglas Kirosho Kaja akiri mbere ya kamiti ya bunge gwicirira ciegie miikarire ya borithi. Na turi bunge rudenda turuge bunge-ini ya Senate kuria kamiti ya ugima wa mwiri ya Senate ire tongoragio ni Senator wa Uasin Gishu Jackson Madago iri na giikaro na Governor wa Nairobi Johnson Sakaja agitariria uria county ya Nairobi itarie uhoro-ini wigi ugima wa mwiri. Ndenda turuge mwena ucio na kuo tuthikiririe ni mariko marathie na mbere.
You say under WASH program. WASH program is a complete another different program. We cannot wait until there's an outbreak of cholera for us to supply them with gumboots. It's raining every day in Nairobi, So what we are saying, I've had your answer, but please, I can tell you, Governor, the problem with some of the answers we are given, and sometimes we sign them off, it starts with perception. These questions are being asked because I'm being fought, those things. Please, Daktari, you have good answers, but you see, you have not collected your data well. Just provide data and evidence. It solves our work. In short, one look at your budget, one look at your procurements. You know your Nairobi very well. We know the season we are in the country, where they need to be facilitated with gumboot, facilitate, and we agree with you. Not all places require those commodities, so give those who deserve, so they can give you a better service. Can you go to question number 2?
Chair, just before you go to question number 2, there is an attitude from the Nairobi County government that they can be clever with words and they think we will not know what they are saying. Because what she is saying is they went out to buy gumboots after or during a cholera outbreak. You have a full complement of 7,400 CHPs, Governor. 7,400. You know their job description. You have sent them out into the estates to do this work. there are certain basic things that from the beginning you would think that they would require. That's the whole point. If even for you during the campaigns, when you sit with these CHPs, the question of gumboots has always been there. From 2017 to 2022, you talk to the same people that I talk to. So the expectation is, if you can tell us of the 7,400, 4,000 don't need them because they work in I don't know which area of this is Nairobi that you think that they will not need gumboots, because when Nairobi floods, it's all over the place.
Well, they're not on the... Anyway.
That's what I'm saying. So you will tell us of the 7,400, we have provided 4,000 gumboots for the people who work in these specific areas because of the sort of hygiene issues that are there. If somebody asks for a raincoat, Governor, which ones will you give raincoats and which ones do you think even if they are rained on, it's okay?
Chair, it's such a simple issue. We shouldn't split hairs.
No, it's not a simple issue. The reason why we are splitting issues is because you've decided to split issues. The response that is coming from her, she decided to tell us that they bought 1,700. She needs to tell us for whom, as the chair has framed. So can we have a conversation? Are these things that the county government thinks are necessary for these CHPs to be able to do their job? And if they are, then we say only 3,000 of them need it. These ones don't need it. And if you can be able to give us that breakdown of what has been done. So unless there is another cholera outbreak, can the remaining 6,000 or so...
I think you have made your point, Senator Sifuna.
Gumboots.
Let me just allow some small clarification, then we go to the question number 2. Chair, we'll give all of them. That's enough. If there's someone who has actually in your answered, the issue of even giving CHPs in Kenya a stipend was brought by me in this house. I believe in the work of CHPs. And we were the first county to give them a stipend. And our stipend is the highest.
Now you have
so if something can give them, just allow me to answer. If something can make them work better, I'll be the first person to do it. We shall provide additional. What we said was the essential, the basic essential that's a national standard has been provided. We shall do more. I think it's a fair case. You know, we shall do it.
Very good.
Now let's go to question number 2. Number 2 was the measures being taken to address technological support gap. Chair, long and short of this is that we have 7820 CHPs. The provision by, these devices are being provided from the national support. They provided for fewer than they are. So there's been a push at COG because it's throughout the counties, it's not just in Nairobi, because you want standardized equipment. And so that procurement is being done at the national level. I think the support from one of the organizations, is it CIF or who is it? One of the...
Yes, it's CIF, yes.
Child Investment Foundation Fund are the ones that procured that for the national government. So they will bridge that gap for all CHPs across the country, including Nairobi. The next question.
So maybe, Governor.
Yeah.
So how many were provided for Nairobi?
7,000.
Because then it makes it possible for us to make a follow-up with the ministry.
Yes, thank
because
you.
it's their work.
So 7,502 were provided with that, with the devices. The gap, therefore, is the difference with 7820. That's the difference that we... So it's been tabulated for each county, how many need to be done. We will be very happy if the Senate can assist and we can provide the list from COG for all the counties, because it's also not neat and clean and fair for them. You're working, one CHP has this device, another one doesn't have the device. Remember, the national government was talking over 100,000 CHPs. There are more than 100,000 CHPs in Kenya. So that is why the gap is there.
Yeah, Chair, the question also covers the qualitative aspect of the devices themselves that have been provided. The conversations with the CHPs that it is old technology. Most of the time it's unreliable, it's failing. So maybe you can address that as well in terms of the quality of the technology itself to be able to do actual online reporting. Because when we were with them, the demonstrations there, those phones hang 90% of the time, Governor. And it makes their work very, very difficult. So maybe you can address that as well, instead of buying the machine for Japan.
Na gĩikaro kĩu no kĩragĩthiĩ na mbere. Rĩu tũthiĩ riboti-inĩ ĩngĩ kũrĩa mũtongoria wa kĩama kĩa Wiper Kalonzo Musyoka nĩaririkanĩte ũrĩa warĩ Prime Minister Raila Odinga ta gĩtugĩ kĩnene harĩ bũrũri wa Kenya gũkorwo hotete kũgĩa na mũthingi mwega wa wĩyathi kũrũmĩrĩra wĩrutĩri wake. Akĩaria mbere ya icera rĩake rĩa gũthiĩ gũcakaya na famĩlĩ ya Odinga mwena wa Bondo, Kalonzo ningĩ nĩaugĩte atĩ maũndũ marĩa Raila arahũranagĩra nĩ marĩa ona mbeũ njĩthĩ makoretwo makĩhũranĩra. no hamwe na uguo atongoria matiganite kuma ikamba-ini ningi acia maige ngurani. Kalonzo ni umwe wa atongoria aige na Kenya aria makoretwo magithie mbirira-ini ya Raila kuheana itio ciao thutha wa gikuũ giake kiria kiaumirire hinahi mweri muthiru.
Brother Raila Odinga, with whom we went to the trenches to give this country a good, reputable, respectable, democratically oriented nation. The type of nation that young Kenyans have been looking forward to, and in fact have literally agitated. So I'm dressed this way literally to remember that I'm going to honor the father of maandamano. We resisted, and Kenyans are still resisting bad governance. Kwa hivyo tumefurahi kabisa, tumeambiwa Kisumu dala. Tumekaribishwa Kisumu. We'll pay a shortcut as we call on Governor Peter Nyang'nyong immediately from here. And I think the rest of us will be moving to Bondo. It's about an hour to get to Bondo, and we ask that people drive peaceably and without any situation. We pray. In fact, I want to ask one of the bishops to come and commit this journey before the Lord. Hapa tuko na clan elders wa Ukambani, and James Kilonzo is here. He's like the king of Ukambani. So, and then we have also the Council of Elders. We have also the professionals here, led by Professor Muluvi. We also have the other Apex team, the bishops. The bishops are here, like Bishop Mwangangi and Archbishop Kituba, Apostle Musili. So, and then of course the members of Parliament, the former members like Mheshimiwa Ezekiel Mweo, Mheshimiwa Patrice Ivuti, Mheshimiwa Ndoto is actually the chair of even the wing of Ngema upande wa Mount Kenya South, literally, is here. And so we're very excited. I've just been talking to the Kamba local stations out there. And we are all united in mourning our late brother, Raila Odinga. That's why we have come. And we like what we are seeing. People of Kisumu, people of Siaya really welcomed us. I spoke to Governor Jim Orengo. I think they're all waiting, supporting Mama Haida.
Ucio ni mutongoria wa kiama kia Wiper Patriotic Front Kalonzo Musyoka ari kaunti ya Kisumu. Na ndiramenyithio ni arikitie gukinya kuria Bondo kaunti ya Siaya. Urenda tuthie mwena ucio kuria arikitie gukinya na ni makirikitie gukorwo magikigirira mahwa. Reke tuthie mwena ucio bica icio ni guciamukira ihinda ritari kuraya. Mwerekeri wakwa atutware mwena ucio tumenye hihi Kalonzo mathiete na unamukiritwo no nao gikaro-ini kiu gia Siaya kuria ni kana kuria Bondo kaunti ya Siaya. Na bica icio urona na njira ya imwe kwa imwe ni mutongoria wa kiama kia Wiper na butwiria igukimumagaritie. Ndirona hari ona senator wa Kitui na bica no iragithie na mbere na ngono na hakiri na wakiri Ndegwa Njiro. Cio ni amwe ya atongoria magotanagira na Kalonzo thiini wa mwena wa mungethaniro. Ririkana riri ni icera riake ria mbere kuma athikwo thutha wa mathiko gukorwo agiyuka mwena uyu gukorwo gikiheana itio ciake cia muthia. Ni mihango ikoretwo igithie na mbere thiini wa kaburi kau kwa ihinda kuma riria Raila Odinga ikorwo githikwo mweri muthiru. Na ona ngona ni hakiri na hihi na giikaro gikorwo gikigia gukorwo gikiaririria kana gikiaririria aria magikinyetie mwena uyu gukorwo magikiruta ndomereri ciao. Na ni gugutwara gikaro-ini kiu wona mihango yothe kana magogona mothe marikirira ni amu Kalonzo ni akiumitwo thutha oho ni athuri kuma mwena wa ikamba-ini niguo magikorwo magikiheana ndumiriri yao na gukorwo magikigirira mahua mao. No mbere yo reke twambe tuthie riboti-ini ingi nigucokia mwena ucio hinda ritari kuraya. Na riu tukihugukira riboti ingi, kambuni ya ukinyaniria wa motungata ma thimu ya Safaricom ni andikithitie baita ya ciringi bilioni 66.2 thĩinĩ wa baita yao, na oho motungata ma M-Pesa ni macagire ciringi bilioni 88.1 kuma bilioni 77.2 mwaka muhituku. Safaricom yanire baita ino riri rakũngũĩra miaka 25 iria ikoretwo igĩtambũrũkia ũtungata wayo kũrĩ mũingĩ.
So thank you, Dean. Considered a hyperinflationary economy, effective.
Safaricom Kenya achieved 194 billion Kenya shillings in service revenue. I repeat that, 194 billion Kenya shillings in service revenue, which is a growth of 9.3% year on year.
M-Pesa revenue profile continues to evolve with increased contribution from new verticals. Consumer and business payments are of course the major growth drivers, contributing 93% of the growth in M-Pesa revenue, boosted majorly by the robust merchant ecosystem, which I'll talk about shortly in detail. Financial service revenue, which mainly consists of credit, wealth, and insurance, grew 14% year over year, the fastest growth recorded in the last 3 years.
Some may remember that back then the mobile phones were the size of a brick. Since then, we have grown in leaps and bounds, and to now serving over 60 million customers. Safaricom is today a large enterprise with a market capitalization exceeding Kenya shillings 1 trillion. I repeat, 1 trillion. Through inclusion, empowerment, and innovation, we have helped drive economic and social progress nationwide. Having turned 25 so strongly, we are inspired to shape the next 25 years, expanding connectivity, commerce, innovative solutions, and financial inclusion across Africa, building on our legacy and amplifying our impact.
We are committed to our vision of becoming Africa's leading purpose-led tech company by 2030, and to using technology to solving societal challenges and customer issues.
Tukitigana na icio ciĩgiĩ ũigithia wa Safaricom, tuthie riboti-inĩ ĩngĩ kũrĩa aciari mathingatĩtwo kũrũnga mĩtugo ya ciana ciao hĩndĩ ĩno ya rũtha rwa thigũkũ nĩguo gũcihotithia kwĩyeherania na ũhũthĩri wa ndawa cia kũrebia na maũndũ mangĩ marehera ũgwati mũtũrĩre-inĩ. Makĩaria hĩndĩ ya kũrugũrio kwa ibuku rĩgiĩ matunda ma mĩtugo mĩega, anyiti itemi rũhonge-inĩ rwa gĩthomo nĩ moete mweke ũyũ kũrĩa thirikari gũtigĩrĩra kwĩna kĩgĩna kĩiganu gĩa thukuru cia senior secondary nĩguo kũgacĩrithia mathomo marĩa maraingĩra grade ya 10.
Nĩ mĩhang'o ya kũrugũria ibuku rĩerũ thukuru-inĩ ũyũ, ibuku rĩrĩa rĩrongoreirie ciĩgiĩ matunda na mĩtugo mĩega. Mwandĩki wa ibuku rĩrĩ Paul Wanjoi hamwe na ataaramu a mathomo makĩoya mweke ũkũria aciari marũnge mĩtugo ya ciana ciao irĩ rũtha rũnene nĩguo ihote gwĩthemana na mogwati ta ũhũthĩri wa ndawa cia kũrebia na ũregenyũku wa mĩtugo. Ataaramu aya maugĩte ciana ciĩkaga maũndũ kũringana na ũrĩa cirona aciari ao magĩka, makiuga aciari magĩrĩirwo gũkorwo marĩ kĩonereria kĩega.
Ibuku rĩrĩ ti rĩa biacara, gĩkĩ nĩ kĩheo ndĩrahe aciari aitũ a Kenya, na nigetha mamenye atĩ hingo ciothe twahanda mbegũ njega, mbegũ ĩyo ĩrehaga matunda mega, na ndĩmwĩre no mũthomithie ciana cituĩke mandagĩtarĩ na no cituĩke maũndũ mangĩ manene, no ikorwo itarĩ na mĩtugo mĩega, mũico kana marigĩrĩrio macio makorwo matarĩ makinyanĩru. Na njoke ta rĩu njuge atĩrĩrĩ, arĩa mena ciana ciĩ thukuru kana iria ireka igeranio kana iria irĩkĩtie kĩgeranio, nĩ tũrathiĩ holiday ya mĩeri 2, na holiday ĩno ya mĩeri 2 no nyende kũria aciari othe makoro o mũndũ akĩhinyĩrĩria ũhoro wa mĩtugo mĩega. Mĩtugo mĩega ĩkweheria ciana citũ hayo ũhoro wa ndawa cia kũrebia, ĩkweheria ciana citũ ũhoro wa reke tuge maũndũ mothe marĩa ma ũregenyũku.
Ihinda-inĩ rĩu anyiti itemi rũhonge-inĩ rwa gĩthomo maugĩte thengia ya thirikari kũiganania marĩhi ma bithi kũrĩ thukuru ciothe cia grade 10 nĩ yagĩrĩire gũtigĩrĩra kwĩna kĩgĩna kĩiganu gĩa thukuru cia senior nĩguo kũgacĩrithia mathomo marĩa maraingĩra grade ya 10.
Mwana waku ndangĩhota kũrũngwo mĩtugo na mbara. Mwana waku niwe mũciari ũkorwo we niwe mwarimu mwega kana mũfano ũrĩa wa mbere, coka ukorwo kimenya kiria mwana waku kingituma akorwo kiona tarathie njira yatagirire nigetha ukamwariria na ukamurunga na njira yagirire no tutigatuike atiriri twakorwo twina stress tugathie gucirutura he ciana citu to twathie gwika uguo hatire discipline turekira ciana in fact turatuma cituike na ngoro nyumu o makiria ati ona hara tugitwe kumathondeka makaga guthondekeka.
The burden of raising a generation cannot be placed on one person. It is a collective responsibility. Our teachers will do their part in imparting knowledge, but character is modeled at home. Our children don't hear what we say, they do what we do. And when they observe what you do is what they become. So as a parent out there looking at the way things are, looking at the way life is, and you feel morality is not there, you feel indiscipline has taken over, ask yourself as a parent, what role have I played?
Riu makienda thukuru cia ndukiumbe iria iheanaga mathomo ma raithi kuria gutari thukuru nyingi cia muingi nicio ABET iteithĩrĩrio ni thirikari. Handũ-inĩ ha Kameme TV, ritwa riakwa nĩ Mathiũ Ndung'u wa Mbũgua.
Igatho Mathiũ Ndung'u na riboti ĩyo nĩyo tũkwamba gũikĩrĩra no nĩ ngũcokereria na mangĩ maingĩ.
Kameme TV.
You are being followed. That statement emakagia. Ona korwo ndamĩthoma mabuku-inĩ kana ndamĩona movie-inĩ. Nĩtũma ngaihũra maenda nĩ harĩa ndanekora. Nĩndirikanaga ndahũrĩrwo thimũ ndikĩmenya kana marĩ thigari kana no mũndũ wetuire. Ngĩroka mũrũgano rũu wandĩka rĩ. Either ũrũrute akorwo ndũkũrũruta ndiona rucota kukarara ũtarĩ thĩinĩ.
Part of story haria hahutirie muno ni ati riria ari thero gutire mundu wa mucereire.
Ni yanga ni makire. DCI ni na burithi kwanza. Mafuta na maji.
Nyekikirwo bengo ciakwa. Na rĩu ngĩrwo rĩu nona we this is bad.
Ni thigari ka mundu na weciria ni ka ni ndu.
Moka mena severia.
Hey yo family, Wagwan, they call me Rise the Lion and I'm gonna be live on stage alongside Luciano, the Messenger. November 22nd, mark the date, ASK The Dome, Jamhuri Park, that's a place to be. Courtesy of K24 TV, bless up. This is Uprising, the youths pan the scene. Tell them not to lose, open like no you see. Get your tickets early, bless up, Lion.
Yeah, this is Uprising, yeah.
Kameme kayo kamu ikina Kameme TV turakurehera Mataha Festival.